Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Haas Podcast. I'm your host, Peggea, and today we have a community member, a very powerful community member, Mohamed Sofa. And this episode is basically mainly going to be centered around this recent event that affected the community on a greater scale. And it's also we're going to talk about what the community can do next and how the community can, recover from this event. So, Mohamed Sofa, thank you for joining us today. So I just wanted you to just quickly say who you are and what you do for the community.
Hey, thank you for having me at the House Podcast. I'm happy to be here at a difficult time. And despite that, I'm very proud of the work you guys have done over the past few months to get some good messages out. So I grew up here on Ritchie Street. I lived here for about 11 years. And I had the privilege of coming back here maybe about 5 years ago and to work out of the community house. So since then, I've really sort of reconnected people that I've known for many years. And then also I play other roles in the community where I either volunteer or support initiatives that are there to support our community.
So you mentioned that you grew up here. And is there a big difference of when you grew up and what's going on right now?
There's a lot of difference between, I was here in 1997 to probably 2007, living here. Throughout that time, in the early days, we were there weren't a lot of resources out in the community. There weren't a lot of open spaces for young people to gather. So we were outside a lot. I see a huge difference in terms of some of the support youth and families are receiving. I see similar challenges, if not bigger, around the issues of employment and poverty and housing needs and schooling needs tend to be same as when I was growing up here, and that's a very unfortunate situation that I know many work hard to do something about, but we haven't really done a great job of getting it right.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So just so everybody who's watching knows, so this past week we've had an event. Unfortunately, we lost one of our member, and this event has greatly affected every member of the community, even has affected the whole city. And then also others were also affected by it too, people who were near the incident as well. And so this video is mostly just seeing what the community can do, how the community can help each other, how can we take from this event and go to a right path, to a better path. So then my question to you is mostly how has this event affected us prior to those similar incidents that we've had in the community?
Oh man, this one was, I think this was losing Manyok, Manny, Metro, was a big loss for this community. He was so young and so powerful and what a leader that we lost. So the impact of his loss, I've never seen anything like it. I've been around here. I was here when Shylock was killed here in this community. I actually spoke at his funeral. I remember it as it was yesterday. And, of course, you guys remember Taylor, Ghost as well. Losing these young men and the trend that I've seen is troubling. Manny was my neighbor for a long time, and I've known him for his full life, his all 18 years. And I've known him, I remember, it's like, some people you remember almost every part of their life. And he's that person, he might as well be a brother. Might as well be my son. So it brings back a lot of hurt, a lot of pain when you think about him. When I talk to his friends and when I see how they're reacting and how they're reflecting and what they're saying, I see that they've lost a big part of who they are. They lost a lot of their identity, and a brother, a friend, someone who they looked up to. And despite how things have gone down, I think people are ready to remember and keep him, keep his spirit and his energy going through what they're doing right now. Like today, with the vigil, with all the fundraising initiatives that have been going on, it's just unbelievable the response that his friends have brought to the forefront.
Yeah, Manny was very loved amongst the community, and you can see it. He had a lot of power, I would say. Yeah, just in that short amount of time from the event happening and to now, we had a lot of support from every single community around the city, and which is very good to see that single one person that has such a good impact on every single youth growing up in this community, and also outside communities as well. And what do you think? What's the next step right now for the youth now?
I don't think there's a single answer to this. My hope, of course, I speak for myself here, but based on what I've been hearing and what people are saying, and what I have seen before, if we put all of our wisdoms and experiences and hopes and aspirations together, I think this is the moment where we pause and we say enough, and talk to each other about what that is, what that loss means to us. Often when we lose someone, within 2-3 weeks, we're back to normal life. We're back to our lives. Families never get over it, and whether it's Jaber or Taylor or Malik, we know the families are still grieving, and we know they haven't had proper closure yet. But I hope in due time the community will say, this is not the way we want things to be, and we can't bear the loss of another brother like that. Within that message, I think everybody's going to do something different, and everybody's going to react differently. My hope is that we will continue to have some of the gatherings that we started after his loss, and those will turn into a way for us to keep in touch, and to care for each other, and to make sure we're there for everybody, regardless of where they are. And we pressured the rest of the community, the greater Ottawa community, to also look at the situation and the contributing factors, and support for young people more seriously. But I also believe this is the time where young leaders will emerge. And they will take on their own ideas and own organizing and own initiatives, and they're going to start up something. I would love, to have his name carry on in this community, and carry on, his spirit to carry on. And somebody has to, take that on. And I'm hoping and leaning on his friends and the community to sort of take that on. If we don't, this will be a big disservice to who Manny was, because Manny was not only a young person in our programs, but he was also a coworker here for a bit of time, and in that time I've seen what he's capable of, and how he cared for people. Of course, have there been times when we disagreed? Certainly, there's a lot of close discussions. Some of it was tough, some of it was hopeful, and some of it was, hey, I'm keeping an eye. But overall, I think this is the man who contributed so much to people, and we want that to live on. I do like, long live Manny message. That I hope that's not just a slogan, and that we're actually going to continue part of what he's done. And I hope we can focus on, being healthy and being strong, and being hopeful for the future. And then on top of that, address some of the challenges that are real, that are present within our young people, within our families, within our greater Ottawa community, and how we're going. And those are complex issues to deal with, but we've been given an opportunity to stop and think, and talk to each other, and make something of ourselves and something of our communities.
Yeah, Definitely. For sure, definitely. Manny, for 100%, his name's going to stay in the community. It's going to stay around for all the impact he had on the youth. We're always going to remember it. I will always remember it as well. But one thing you mentioned earlier is that there's been since this event, there's been a wave of youth coming over to the community house. We've been opening it for the youth to come and talk amongst each other, share memories of Manny and all that. And you mentioned that we would like it to keep going, which is good because I know back when I was growing up here in Richie, we had that, and it kind of stopped for a little while because of staffing and other issues. So you want us to bring that back, which is a great idea. But as well, like what else can the community do for those youth? Because we've seen that this event can either go two ways, right? Good way or a dark way, right? Some youth might take this event and be like, okay, I want to live up to what Manny was doing. I want to also become someone great, like he aspired to be, like he wanted to be. And other people would say, we've lost someone great, so, I don't want to be great because I might end up like that, right? So we're trying to, like, what can the community do to make sure that people go towards the good path?
That's an interesting piece because I've always believed that if there is ever going to be a change, it will come from the young people in this community. I hope that the gatherings of the last few days is going to open up dialogue. There are a lot of things that I can say that might work, but I think, in a nutshell, if we don't get the young people themselves coming up with their own solutions, we're going to not have the right solution. What I like to see moving forward is to have the youth themselves decide where they want to go and what they want to do and what they like to see in their community, and start partnering or doing it on their own with the larger community, or here just within Ritchie Street or Britannia Woods, and do something about it. I think the youth in Ritchie and the surrounding areas have a lot of power, but that power needs to be harnessed and leaders need to come forward. If we can combine already their strong skills and presence and understanding of the community and young people in particular, as well as their families and the realities that are present in their homes, then I think they're going to come up with a great solution that would help a lot of people. I don't see a solution where the youth are not really in the forefront of leadership or vision. So we will encourage, and what I encourage everyone is to come up with what they like to see, and we sit together and figure out what they like to lead. I always said, programs and services are a good way to help the one person, but if you want a good movement, then you need a lot of people to come together to share and to strategize and to make commitment to change things. I know it's not easy to make these things happen, and I know that there'll be myself and other people that would be always there to guide and to support and to resource whatever young people want to do. And within that, we work with a lot of constraints. For example, we're in a little house here in a 4-bedroom converted community space. We can only get so many people into the space like this. But there are greater spaces around the area and the neighborhoods that we can tap into, and I hope those will open up and we can reorganize how we reach young people. And with the help of young people, we can lead and initiate some positive happenings. The other part of this is, you said, where do we go from here? Because there are sort of very few paths. One of them is positive, right? And we can also think negatively. It's my understanding that everyone I talk to is thinking positive, and I hope that we're all encouraging to think positive at the moment, because this is very difficult time. And what positivity means really is to keeping yourself well and to keep your friends well and speak the truth. Often, we don't say the right things. We don't speak power. We don't say exactly like we mean it. I think if we want to, if somebody's feeling down, we got to lean on they got to have someone to lean on. but we also got to go to them and share with them and counsel them. And I hope that young people are willing to connect their friends to support. But the choices are very real, and we are dealing with tough reality right now. And I hope we can, each and every one of us can pause. And when I say, all of us, I don't mean the youth, but, I've talked to parents, I've spoken to parents, and I've spoken to young people, and we've spoken to people who work in the community. And they're all feeling like, what can we do next, and what is the appropriate next step? Some of us are angry,
Yeah.
right? And rightly so. And some people are super frustrated. Some of us are still grieving, and they're in the early stages of grief. So we take time, but we stay together as time passes. And I think we'll have the right models and leadership form here in this community, and hopefully do something great where we can refocus.
Yeah, definitely. So, in light of this event and the struggles that we faced, that the youth faced before this event, is there any other struggle that you think might come out from this event that the youth may face?
I think this opens up a significant conversation in terms of the real challenges that are present in young people's lives. Of course, we're talking about one or two or three people, but we can talk about 100 people that are facing similar challenges. All of us, at one point or another, were exactly where Manny was, a year ago, 2 years ago. We were all, had pressures in our lives. So I'm hoping over time, people will come forward and we'll identify particular needs. My thing has always been, we got to have a hopeful future for every young person. And every young person in our community, it is their right to have their full potential met. They do not need to live in fear, and they have the right to access proper education and proper supports in their community and in their society. And every time you lose a young person, even to prison, that's potential. That's a full potential we lost in our community. And these, added up, when you compound all the losses, then we have trauma, and we have, people feeling doubtful about the future. And when they doubt the future, with the situations here and the density in a community like this, there are a lot of children just on Ritchie Street. There are over 500 people under the age of 24 in this one neighborhood in Ottawa. If things don't get better, few circumstances can influence a lot of people to go the negative way. So we gotta make sure every person has the opportunity to do well, and that's having discussions at school, right here in the community, outside in the making sure we create employment opportunities, and other pathways that can lead them to reach their full potential.
Yeah, definitely. There is indeed a lot of potential in our neighborhood and all the surrounding neighborhoods, right? Potential in music, writing, speaking, playing sports. There's a lot of potential here. And as a community, it's kind of like our duty to make sure that that potential does not go to waste. That potential does not, how can I say this, end up, yeah, the potential does not end up being bad, right? That potential is harnessed and put into good, right? And also, so what, how can I say this? What do you think is the leading cause of such events? What do you think we can do to prevent such events from happening?
Well, look, what caused all this to happen, is hard to tell.
Yeah.
Because we did not expect this. Generally, there are several areas that we look at. We look at the makeup of the community and the resources within. We look at the households and is every house in the community, every child supported the right way. We look at schooling. We look at the greater environment within the surrounding and immediate community. We look at, were there mentors, adult, positive adult presence? Were there, did the person have any negative experiences in their life that put them like this? Were there people that, were able to influence them in a certain way? So there are so many factors, but for me, it comes down to a few things. We have young immigrant racialized men in our city are dealing with tough circumstances. So if we're going to make sustainable change, we got to have leadership from the community emerge, and we got to challenge the power structures in the city as well. We got to participate. We got to go speak out. We got to raise our concerns. You guys know this well. Peggea is, as soon as people do well in this neighborhood, what do? They move out, right? So what happens? You have the same people with the similar needs move in. So you have a community that's continuously changing. Every year you're going to get 10, 15 new houses who have similar needs. And all of us that tend to do a little better, we move away. So there's got to be a way for us to come back. And this is what I like about you guys, because most of you are not living here, or none of you are actually living here. But this is a place that you found, you know that your presence is needed, and you know that you wish you had people like yourself out here helping you when you were younger. So I think this stuff you're doing and more that we're going to get out of young people is exactly what we need to start making that change. But we also need the greater city to step in and resource this community right and understand this community right. And we have to create leaders who are going to demand changes, and they're going to lead changes. And I hope that will come out of an event like this. This was not small. We have two other brothers who are hit hard, and I actually think this is one of the biggest youth event, tragic event in Ottawa's history, and I hope we can mark it as such and make that there has to be a sense of urgency to make things better.
Thank you. We come back, we try to help out as much because we found our roots in here, and we know that there are people who went through the same thing that we went through, and we want to help them out, right? We look at the youth, want to impact them in a positive way, show them that there's multiple ways of making it, right? There's not just a single path, there's multiple paths. But also, we've had similar events happen in the past, like you mentioned, with Shylock, with Taylor as well, and now one of our brothers. And we haven't seen nothing come out from the OPP. We haven't seen anything, any news. Why do you think that? So why do you think that all these events are happening are always either never resolved or just never spoken about ever again?
That's a huge question. That question is one that really, really worries me. Imagine the killers of these brothers, just to simply put, walking around amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
Just imagine that, right? And you're gonna see them, and you hear stories. So we know we all hear stories of how things have happened, but yet we don't have any charges laid. We haven't had anyone face the full force of the law. And I think this is something that our community, our police, our city, our elected officials have to deeply consider why this is the case. We just named 3 people, and I'll add Jabber to that list as well, whose crimes against them have not been solved. So you have anonymity in criminality, and that's a dangerous path that we need to really look at what that means. Our youth lose confidence in the system when events like this don't get resolved. When families are not given their rightful results in our system. We have a very proactive and civilized society here, so you expect that there'll be results for something like this. But we know that hasn't been the case for us. So I think that's something that we're going to have to bring up as a community and speak truth about the issues. And the other part of the equation is that I know there's a no snitch policy, and people are talking about I don't talk to police.
Yeah.
I like someone to tell me the positive alternative to that.
Yeah.
I still haven't figured out one. But if I lost my child, if I lost my son, if I lost my brother, I would do whatever it takes to make sure the people responsible for this faced the law and paid their rightful duties through the established process of the legal system. I know, I grew up here. We've been young people here. We've been teenagers here. So I know what I'm saying is not probably the most popular thing. But I also know that, if you want a strong, healthy community, we need to really consider what we want, how we define health and how we define wellness, how can we make sure that all of our young people have the right to grow up in their city, meet their full potential, help their families, help their friends, be there for their friends. I think, we think a little simplistic to say. We will not say anything. I think saying something is complex, but we gotta start. We gotta figure out what our priorities are, and I think everyone knows what that is. And I hope that we can have those difficult conversations, not just amongst ourselves, but also with police and with other institutions in the city. And that's how you rise. I don't think you can rise by being, not communicating within the society you live in. It doesn't work like that. So I am torn I'm very torn actually between, this not unsolved crimes and our view and trust with police. So we gotta. This is a dialogue that's gonna have to emerge, and I hope these are some tough conversations at a talk show that we can actually have multiple voices, and have the debate of, which side is better and why and what not. Because I don't think it's something that we can solve here. So, but I like this conversation, that conversation in particular, to go ahead. No pressure on you guys, but to really have a full controversial dialogue that can enlighten people. And that can challenge my views, and that can challenge the police's view, but also challenge the no snitching discussions that we're having.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like as a community, you want to be able to, have no transparency with the community. You want to be able to share, especially in terms of tragic events such as this. A way for us to really feel connected is for us to share the information we know in order for us to figure out how we can resolve this issue, right? Because as you mentioned, there's no snitch policy. It doesn't really benefit us as a community in order for us to get justice, right? We've seen the event. We're not sharing anything we know. So in a certain way, you can say that we're kind of accomplices to the event because we know about, we don't want to come out. But also we do have to understand that it's also out of fear, right? We also know that this event happened, also fear for our own safety as well. And there's really, as you mentioned, right, we haven't seen any interaction from the police and stuff like that, right? So we fear that if we come up, then something might happen to us and we don't even see the police doing anything when an event like this happens. So imagine what they would do when someone like us, speaks up. Yeah.
No doubt. I think that experience and that sentiment is real, and not just for young people, but even for families. Mm-hmm. So I think that trusting, being comfortable to, for me to shake your hand, right, is a big deal. So if we can't get there, then we can't really do the very heavy lifting and deep conversations that we need. So I 100% agree with you that we need to reflect on how people are, the realities of people, right? If, the system has been established a long time ago, and it hasn't really transformed for today's reality. So the other part of it is we got to actually rethink how police do their work.
Yeah, we have to take into account the emotions of the people involved, the emotion of the community, of every single individual within this community, in order for us to remedy to this issue that we have. But before we end, I just want to That's the question I want to ask is if you have any advice for not only just the community, but for every single individual who lives in the community in light of this event. Is there a message that you want to partake on the community and also on the youth as well?
Well, look, there are two things that I would say. One is our brother lived 18 years. He was taken as a child from us. And the worst thing we can do is to turn his memory and the power and influence and potential he had to something negative. The best thing we can do is to take his holistic life and that bigger than life personality and person he was and turn that into something bigger, something positive, something that can carry on, like something that I would be proud of. My son being involved, who's 6 years old now. You know, why do we do what we do? Why are we here? What is the purpose of this life that that was given to us? Why did our parents put so much? And you know the reality of our parents, man. You know, I don't have to say anything. Everybody knows where they came from, right? But you know the realities of our houses. You know, we all were. Everybody in this neighborhood, one day or another, was going through the same thing, right? So honoring that, honoring their struggle, you know, giving them a peace of mind. That's a big deal, right? And giving them peace of mind is about you being well, because that's their number one thing in life. It's not about you getting wealthy. It's not about the cars or the house or the cash. We all know that. It's simply about you being happy, you being well. And if we can give our parents and community and siblings and young ones that, then I think we've accomplished our goal in life. There's no need for small thinking and for negativity right now. I think that, you know, we need a big vision, and the big vision is taking care of our little ones, and that's every, you know, adult, and I'm adding the 18-year-olds to the adult category, is required and is responsible to be positive and to lead in the right way and to think about their life at the end of their life. You know, that dash, the day you were born and the day your life was taken, that dash in between, we got to think about how people are going to remember us.
Manyok was definitely one of the most talented guys I knew. Always had a pure heart, you know, always made sure everyone around him was good. Before, even if he wasn't good, he made sure everyone around him was blessed, you know. And, you know,
Manny was like a born leader. Like as soon as you met him, like he just had the charisma, like right away when you met him. And like everyone, I think that's gonna be in this video, he had a special connection with each and every single person in the video. And
we're going to keep his legacy going for sure. Anything Manny wanted, all the guys, we're going to put on for him. We're going to keep it going for him. Manny definitely started everything for us in the community, and we're going to keep it going. It's never going to stop here. We love you, Metro.
Manny was someone who was known for his realness. He was very competitive, very real guy. Every time you talk to him, it's always been about, you know, important stuff. You know, how he wanted to succeed in life, how he wanted to grow, how he wanted to do a bunch of stuff. And it was just easy to love him because he also had that hilarious side on him, that jokester kind of side. He was also a funny guy at the same time.
Not gonna lie, he was actually like the kindest person, you know. I don't know like how other people saw him, but like to be honest, moi je dis que comme il est pas qui les autres personnes croient qu'il était. He was really kind. Like it's like that person, like even if you meet him for the first time, he'll give you like a type of energy as if you guys were already like friends from like long time ago, you know.
Once you met, you would never forget him, even if it was just once or twice. He's someone that really had an impact on everyone, no matter what it was, and he'd always want to meet new people and, you know, be friends with everyone and just be nice to everyone. And you can really tell that because every time he first met someone, he would like really be interested in them, like really put a lot of effort into the conversation, talking to them and getting to know them. And it was really interesting to see because like he made everyone feel so comfortable, and I think that's why everyone had like a really strong connection to him. So even people that only met him once or twice or just a couple times were really touched by him and his presence.
He was really accepting of everybody. Like, he never let anybody feel like they didn't belong in a place that he was there. He always wanted to include everybody in the conversation that was going on. He never wanted anybody to feel left out. And that was one of the things that he could do that nobody else could do.
That Manny had different relationships and friendships and with different people, and he always knew how to interact, whether you're a kid or old person or somebody our age. He always knew how to make a connection with everybody, you know what I mean?
And he was unselfish. A role model, that's the word. He always used to push us. He was a hard worker too when he played football and all that. He used to always, before when Manny used to bring us to the beach, he used to bring us to the court, and we used to do drills and stuff. He would play both sports, basketball and football.
There's a story that one time when I was at Achul's house, we were like just playing, and me and Achul both had like these play kitchen sets. Achul had the same exact one as mine, but I lost mine. So then I took it and I tried hiding it, and they caught me. I ran to my house. Achul started crying. I was crying. I'm saying, I'm never giving it back. Then Manyok came and he said, okay, Lydia, just give it back. I'll buy you a new one. And he's like the hero of the day because I got a new one and she got her old one back.
Any last things you want to say? Manyok was just like a loving, caring person. Like, he always made sure everybody was like okay, and like he always helped out people, and like he was just there for everybody, and like he just was by your side, and he was just gonna do big things, and like yeah.
I'd say really like kind and very like he's very jovial, you know, he's always happy every time I saw him. And like I'd also say he's very compassionate as well. Yeah.
I'd say he's kind of like the life of the party. Like anytime you see him, he's probably like the most like happiest and like noticeable person. He's very sweet. Like anytime I'd see him, even if I was driving by really quickly, he always made sure to say hi and like wave, you know. Yeah, and he just had a really good heart.
Okay, and do you guys have like a story you want to tell, a memory?
I feel like it was just like a lot of like fake ones, I'd say. Yeah, it was a lot of like sweet memories.
Yeah, because we've known him for like 15 years now. So it's kind of all jumbled. I feel like I remember him and my brothers like playing in elementary school. They used to like be obsessed with soccer.
Exactly.
Then he went to football, and then I went and visited St. Joe's one day, and he was there. Just like it's a lot of stuff all together.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of always thought he'd be somebody like in Ottawa to actually like make it. Like I always thought like in a few years you'd be seeing like Metro this and the collabs with this person. Because I remember my brothers telling me like people were DMing him. I thought he'd end up moving to Toronto. I just always saw so much potential in him, and I really thought like he'd be somebody that like in a few years like, you know, put Ottawa on the map and like
One of my favorite moments with this guy. Grew up maybe half of my life with him and everything. Back then, we were all kids, maybe less than grade 6. All played soccer in the one same field, playing marbles. Most of my favorite memories come from that field itself. So, and he was a big part of it too.
And
So,
if you were to describe him in a couple of words, what would they be?
amazing. Could have done a lot of things. Football, music. Had a lot of doors, you know.
Hit that! Hit that! Oh! This guy's an R&B artist. Hold up! Hold up! Man, he's not a rapper. You know he wants to be an R&B artist.
He was a very nice person. He was caring. He was charismatic. He always made people smile with his positive energy.
He's just someone that every time he came in a room, like the room just lights up, and like his smile was so bright and everything. And
a great leader. When you see him, you could tell that a lot of people respect him, and just by the way he carries himself. So Manyok, the Metro I know is Manyok Akol, and never switched since day one. So that's somebody I truly, truly respect. So
he was like a funny guy to me. Like when I was around him and stuff, like he would try to feed us and stuff like that. And then like stuff like he did for like the community. Like in the summer, I used to be in the backyard with like all of them, and then like we used to go to the store. We get barbecue, like we get a barbecue, we get buns, we get hamburgers, stuff like that. And then we go cook it, and then we give it to like all the kids, and we eat it, and then yeah.
Like he cared more about others than himself. So like that's basically how you would describe him. He would like try to help you with anything you need, like follow your dreams and stuff like that. We used to play 2K together, me and my brothers, all of them. We used to get Barney's and stuff like that. Tin pizza.
My best memories of him? I think it'd have to be the time we got chased by a dog. I think it was winter and we were running around Richie and they're doing a put him in a coffin challenge, you know, when you just jump in the snow.
I know what it is. We put it in the coffin. Jesus!
So then everybody was scared to do it, but then he just did it. And then somebody's dog came outside and it was running around loose. And everybody was scared, so we're all scattering. And then I didn't know which way to go, so he just took me with him. And we're just running around the whole neighborhood till they finally caught the dog and brought him inside.
Probably one of the most influential guys in the neighborhood, 100%. He's the reason why I actually started a music career. He really pushed me to start a music career. And
very supportive.
He hated seeing us mad. He always wanted to put us in a good mood. He never wanted to see us mad and stuff. And he always gave us advice about life and like mostly like how to talk to girls.
So funny. One time I went to his house because he needed to braid his hair, and I was sitting beside him, and I stole his speaker. I stole his speaker.
The white one?
Yeah. I'm blasting it around the school. And he's like, Tyne, I know you have my speaker. My dad took it to Haiti. My dad left the fucking country. And then he's like, yo, don't even worry about it. Just keep it.
His smile was bright. Like, if you just see him smiling, you're gonna laugh. Like, he was really nice. He was actually a neighborhood hero, like literally. He was he was an old soul, yeah.
And I don't think I'll ever come across like anyone that will ever have anything bad to say about him. He was always there for everyone. Like, I don't recall a time he's ever said anything bad about anyone or made anyone feel like less of themselves. Like my birthday, the whole night, I don't know why I was so upset, and I felt like everyone was there for just to be there, to have like a place to have fun or whatever. And you know, he stopped the whole party like he was freaking Jay-Z or some Beyonce or something, and said, no, everyone stop, we're here for CC and this whole thing. And I just...
Thank you for always pushing me to do better on the court. Thank you for making sure that I'm always in the gym, getting my workout in, eating right, and not sleeping while other people are in the gym getting better than me. Thank you for making me aware of that and aware of what I need to do to get to where I want to go.
Man is never going to be forgotten, and he's always going to be in our hearts and our minds. And I know, like, generations to come will know who he was.
Manny was loyal. He was always happy, and he always liked to roast people. From a young child to, you know, he's still young age. You can see the smile from, you know, literally a couple 100 meters out, and he always kept his head up. You know, he never looked down. He was proud. That's what I remember. You know, I remember when we were neighbors, and I remember the year he was born, and you know, the following years, and then seeing him grow up and have big dreams, change things for himself, for his friends, for his family, for his community, or at least try in his very young age, was impressive, very impressive. You know, the last story I remember with Manny was just a few weeks ago, and maybe about a month and a bit ago. And I asked him, "What's your plan moving forward?" And he said, "I'm out, and I'm going to see the world and do my thing and use my talent." And he didn't really want to be here so much. He's like, "I'll come see friends and family, but I want to go out and experience the world and be in a different spot and create what I love doing and go after my dream." So that's the story. But I always loved Manny's how he tried things. I remember when he didn't really like playing basketball that much, but he always played. Just sometimes I know he was at a tournament last year at the Ottawa U with all the guys, with Dom and Ben was there, and he wasn't really playing. He was just there, just to motivate them. He was just clowning around sometimes, and other times he was serious. But he could do it. He just didn't want to do it. He just wanted to be there. But he could have dominated that game. But he's like, "I'm just here. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying my friends." And he had that sense of humor. So there are a lot of stories to tell. But we'll always remember that 3-year-old, that 5-year-old, that 7-year-old, that 9-year-old, and that teenager who was a colleague and a friend and someone that we loved and trusted. And it's sad that he's gone, but he's going to live with us for a long time, and may he rest in peace.
Thank you all for tuning in, and make sure you like, subscribe, and comment in our videos. We want to be able to interact with all of you, so we'd like you guys to leave a comment of what you think of this video and how we can better help this community as much as we can. And yeah. You never know how to end, so it's always like...
I think my greatest memory was when he first made the song. My mom said, "You're gonna be just like your daddy," and we were all outside in front of the community center.
Turn me up, man, Joe. My name gonna be just like your daddy.
Hey, man.